SilverStone Strider Titanium 1100 watts PSU review. The SilverStone Strider Titanium 1100 watts has a pretty high power density score with 474 watts per liter, thanks to its 180 mm length. It is also highly efficient since it meets the 80 plus titanium in the Cybnetic CTAA plus efficiency requirements. With a $270 price tag, it definitely isn't a low in PSU, and it faces tough competition in this price range, with rivals including the Seasonic Prime Titanium 1000 watts, so we will have to see how it fares in this competitive market segment. All 80 plus titanium and ETAA plus certified power supplies have stiff prices, since they use the most efficient platforms that today's technology can provide. The titanium level sits on top of the 80 plus standards range, while Cybnetics has an even higher certification, the ETAA++, which for the moment is out of reach for every desktop PSU. Only once the minor rails are abandoned and the plus 12 volts rail remains alone, then there will be a strong possibility for over 94% overall efficiency, as the ETAA++ certification requires. The SilverStone Strider Titanium 1100 watts retails for $299 in the US, while in the UK market is sold for $269.99, and its headline feature is certainly the fact that it is one of very few power supplies able to meet the 80 plus titanium in the Cybnetic CTAA plus efficiency requirements. Its platform is among the most efficient that I have ever encountered, but is this enough to justify its stiff price? Unfortunately, for SilverStone, I don't think so. Enhance Electronics, the maker of this platform, apparently had to make several compromises in order to offer such high efficiency levels, and while in terms of efficiency it achieved its goal, the overall performance cannot quite match the other high-end offerings in this price range. The ripple suppression is great, though, and the load regulation at plus 12 volts is tight enough. However, the rest of the rails do not have as tight voltage deviations. In my opinion, though, the biggest problems with this unit are the low hold-up time and the inaccurate power OK signal. The APFC converter's bulk caps, aside from being expensive, can greatly affect the overall efficiency, so Enhance chose to use caps with lower than optimal capacity here, and this leads to a very low hold-up time. This is not acceptable, of course, for any power supply that claims to meet the ATX specs standards. Another thing that bothered me was the very small headroom on the plus 12 volts rail. Once I loaded it a little beyond the official specs, its load regulation and ripple suppression went completely out of control. I did stress it at a very high ambient temperature, and most likely this played an important role here. However, this is still one of the few enhanced platforms that can deliver full load continuously at 50 degrees Celsius, so I wanted to test its limits. I have seen some great and innovative designs from Enhance, for example the passively cooled Nightjar NJ450 SXL, which proved very impressive. However, I cannot say the same for today's review sample. Although it is very efficient, its fan profile is poorly tuned, so the overall noise exceeds 40 decibels. Moreover, it lacks a power switch, which is still essential for any power supply, while it should also provide a way to turn off the semi-passive operation. On the positive side, this unit has 8 key connectors, hosted on dedicated cables, and there are plenty of peripheral connectors. The dimensions are small enough, but not that impressive when we take into account the fact that the 1500 watts model shares the same exactly chassis as this unit. Finally, the use of a double ball bearing fin means that, besides high noise, this PSU won't have a problem with high ambient temperatures, as long as you don't exceed its nominal capacity. Overall, with a lower price tag, the SD1100T would be more appealing, but I would like to see several improvements made. Find the issue that causes so much trouble at plus 12 volts with a little higher than the nominal load, even with a steady voltage input. Longer hold-up time. Accurate power OK signal. Better fan profile for quieter operation. A power switch. A way to deselect the semi-passive operation. Better transient response at 3.3 volts. Lower OCP at 3.3 volts. You can get the SilverStone Strider Titanium 1100 watts from UK for 269.99 incorporated VAT here. Pros: full power at 48 degrees Celsius. 1100 watts of power. Highly efficient. Good ripple suppression. Tight enough load regulation at plus 12 volts and good transient response on the same rail. DBB fan. Dedicated cables for the key connectors. Loads of cables and connectors including 8xP and 2xEPS. Fully modular. Compact dimensions. Semi-passive operation, which cannot be deactivated though. Cons: stiff price. The plus 12 volts rail's performance deteriorates with greater than 95 A load. Inaccurate power OK signal. Very low hold-up time. Lacks a power switch. Noticed a glitch in the transient response tests in the PSU off to full plus 12 volts scenario. Transient response at 3.3 volts. Very high OCP at 3.3 volts. The competition provides longer warranty periods, though 5 years is perfectly fine with us.